Duck is a Great Western engine. He runs his own branch line between Knapford and Arlesburgh. He is very proud of being Great Western. As he would often say, there are two ways of doing things, the Great Western way or the wrong way. One morning, he pulled into Arlesburgh station. There, he saw the Fat Controller with an unfamiliar man. "Hello," said Duck. "Who might this be?" "This is Mr Sedgecombe," said the Fat Controller. "He is looking to build a cider factory on your branch line." "Cider factory?" said Duck. "Yes, I am," replied Mr Sedgecombe. "You will go with him and he will find the perfect site to set up his cider factory," said the Fat Controller. "I think I know a good site," said Duck. "Just north of here." "All right," said Mr Sedgecombe, and he climbed aboard. Duck showed him the site. "That would be splendid," said Mr Sedgecombe. And whilst he was admiring the sight from Duck's cab, he and Duck began to talk. "So, you said you weren't involved in the cider business all your life?" "No, my grandfather was a Baptist minister, and he thought that alcohol was the cause of all sorts of moral evils. They made us drink grape juice instead of wine, and he served grape juice at communion in his church." "Right," said Duck. "Those are very sincere beliefs of his," he said. "Would he think that his grandson is now a cider maker?" Mr Sedgecombe laughed. "I wouldn't worry about it. I am sure his spirit is still pleased with me for my work." Duck puffed away. Over the next few weeks, the cider factory was built. Duck, Oliver, Donald and Douglas, and Ryan all helped with the construction. The Fat Controller also negotiated with the colliery on the mainland, and he was able to bring Bernard to his railway early. "So, we're going to build this cider factory, are we?" asked Bernard. "Yes," said his driver. "For Mr Sedgecombe, I think." "Oh, that sounds interesting," said Bernard, and he set off to work. This also involved building new railway tracks to connect the cider factory to the railway, and within a few months it was done. Mr Sedgecombe was pleased. "Now I will really be able to create Sudrian cider," he said. "I'm glad of it. Well, I'm of the Taunton school of cider making," laughed Mr Sedgecombe. "Taunton?" thought Duck. "It's on the Great Western, isn't it?" Soon the cider factory was in business, and the engines were all pulling tanks full of cider, or sometimes trucks filled with kegs of cider. Mr Sedgecombe's business had grown into an instant success, with many pubs in the area wanting his cider to serve at the bar. Some weeks later, Duck puffed into the cider factory, ready to take a delivery of cider to Knapford. His driver and fireman went to talk to Mr Sedgecombe in his office. He was trying to make new flavours for cider. "Why don't you try my Parma Violet cider?" "Parma Violet cider?" thought Duck. "Ah, don't worry about it," laughed Mr Sedgecombe. "It's normal cider with a bit of Parma Violet flavouring." So Duck's driver and fireman went into the office. "Oh well," sighed Duck. "Time for a little rest." Duck was also looking forward to a drink, But what he didn't know was some news were around. They decided to have fun. They switched off the water supply and then transferred the cider that was in the vats into the water column. Duck didn't know this, nor did his driver and fireman. "Alright," said Duck's driver when he came out, "time for your drink." The fireman filled Duck's tanks right up. "That's strange," thought Duck. "The water tastes a bit funny," but he didn't say anything because he needed a drink. Soon, Duck's tanks were filled up and he was ready to go. Just as he left Arlesburgh, he began to feel strange. Driver, I don't feel good." The fireman looked at the gauge. "Oh my, what's going on with your steam pressure?" Soon, Duck's safety valve began to hiss loudly. "Oh, I feel woozy," gasped Duck. And soon, Duck came to a complete stop. "I've never felt like this before," gasped Duck. His driver and fireman examined him all over. "I see nothing wrong with your workings, Duck," said the driver. "Well, let's have a look in the tanks then," said the fireman. They had a look in the tank and saw what was in it. "Apparently, Duck," they said, "you've taken on some cider." "Cider?" gasped Duck in amazement. "No wonder I was feeling drunk. But how?" "We better tell Mr Sedgecombe about this," they said. Bernard was called to rescue Duck. "Oh my, Duck, how did this happen to you?" "I don't know," replied Duck. Bernard thought for a moment. "You know, Mr Sedgecombe has been having some problem with views. They've been causing all sorts of trouble around his cider factory, so I won't be surprised if it's them." "That could be it," said Duck. "Well, we can't leave you here," said Bernard, so he coupled up to Duck. And then he took the train to Knapford Station. Bernard was still bemused at what had happened. An engine getting drunk, taking on cider. How would that happen? He thought. Soon they puffed into Knapford Station. Mr Sedgecombe was waiting for them. "Duck, I am so sorry about this." "It's alright," replied Duck. Sir?" asked Bernard. "Do you know what happened?" "I know just what happened," replied Mr Sedgecombe. "It was those youths. I had a look on the security camera footage and I saw them around my factory last night." James thought it all a great job. Well, he laughed. "So you decided to go drinking driving?" "Be quiet," replied Duck crossly. "That is not very Great Western, you know." "Wait a second. Cider does come from the West Country. So, and you're a Great Western engine, so that perfectly fits." Bernard saw a tank of beer. He decided to size up the situation. James?" "Yes?" "You see that tank of Guinness over there?" Yes, why?" "That will be going in your tank if you don't stop tormenting Duck, and you'll feel the exact same as he has been feeling." James said no more. he just puffed away. The ewes were soon caught by the police, and needless to say they were punished severely. Mr Sedgecombe has had no more problems with ewes, and his business was growing from strength to strength. Duck has never taken on cider ever again. After all,
It would be very un-Great Western